Merry Christmas, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, Happy Sunday. I am in my parents' kitchen with my mom. Say hi.
Hi.
And today we are going to be baking the Christmas cookies that we bake nearly every Christmas time, Cocoons.
This is a cup of margarine, a half cup of powdered sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, a little bit more than a teaspoon. Probably should have used a smaller bowl for this.
It's the smallest one we've ever made. So is that the consistency you want?
I think that's good.
Now that everything is creamed, you're going to pour in 2 cups of flour.
It takes a bit of stirring to get it all mixed up. This bowl is probably as old as I am.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We always make cocoon dough in this, as well as root beer. It was the everything bowl at home when I was growing up.
And when I was growing up.
Yep, you can see it starting to all blend together, stir together now, and form the dough. I've seen some recipes where a mixer is used for this, but I've never used a mixer. It's always stirred by hand.
Why do you prefer stirring it by hand?
That's just the way we always did it. That's what the recipe calls for. A cup of chopped nut, finely chopped nut, peppercorns.
Look how finely those are chopped.
Some of these cocoons are also called Italian wedding cookies, and some recipes call for them to have almonds instead of pecans. We never used almonds. I like the pecans. I guess it's a southern thing.
I guess so.
Now it will be a little crumbly. You see how this is crumbly?
Mm-hmm.
Thing about this cookie dough, it's just as good raw as it is cooked.
I was going to say that. That was always my favorite part because there's no egg.
Yeah,
you can actually eat it.
And especially after it's chilled a while, it's even better raw. So we're going to put this in the fridge for at least a half hour. It could even stay overnight if you wanted to prepare the dough one day and bake it the next day. But you might eat it all in little bits.
She means me. I might eat it all in little bits.
Yeah, we'll just let it sit in the fridge so it'll chill and be easier to roll into the balls. And we will check it in about a half hour. If we feel like letting it sit an hour in the fridge, that's a-okay too. And yes, we are Disney fans too at this house, as you can plainly see.
That apple just fell directly from the tree.
Yeah.
Or actually, it's probably still on the tree.
The dough has been in the refrigerator for 50 minutes. Try to roll your cocoons in uniform size so they bake uniformly. They don't rise, they don't spread when baking, so you can put them close together, not touching, but close together, and you can fit a lot on the pan. Single batch should fill up this pan. Sometimes it takes a second pan, not full though, so we'll see what happens when we get to the end of this pan.
So it's now time for me to put the camera down and actually get to rolling.
Perfection is highly overrated. Now these cocoons are traditional Italian Christmas cookies, and in some recipes almonds are used instead of pecans, as I said earlier. These are also called Italian wedding cookies, Mexican wedding cookies, snowballs, Russian, I don't know if it's Russian red snowballs or Russian wedding cookies that I read. It just depends on the country they're being made or the culture of the people who are making them. And some families use these just at Christmas time. Others, all times, for different occasions. I've made them for our wedding receptions, baby and bridal showers. I even made this for your baptism reception. You were sitting in a little infant seat on the island while I rolled this. And I told you one day you would be rolling this with me.
And she
here
was
we are.
right.
And I used to make these when I was a child with my mom for Christmas. And they're a pretty little cookie that looks festive.
They
especially
are.
on a Christmas plate served, you know, to your guests.
I think this is the second type of cookie I remember making.
Oh,
The first being Aunt Jean's chocolate chip
chocolate chip
cookies.
cookies, yeah. Those are good too. Those are also anytime cookies. The dough is crumbly, but it rolls easily.
And with the heat of your hands, that's why you have to use your
Yeah.
hands to roll. It forms this little ball.
And I read that this recipe actually came from the Moors, who brought this recipe many, many years ago, of course, to Spain. And the Spanish baked these cookies, and the recipe spread through other parts of Europe. Sometimes they're shaped like crescents, and of course called crescent cookies.
We should try that one year.
Yep. I've seen other recipes that call for a few other ingredients added.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a recipe that had cinnamon added to this. That would be good, I think.
It would
And
be.
you saw a recipe with peppermint.
Yeah,
right?
so I wanted to make some today with peppermint and decided against it, just making these. But I think
We'll try
I'll
that
do that
another
later, and I
time.
think that would be good, cinnamon and peppermint together.
I'll bet this would be good pressed flat in this pan, baked, and when cooled, put some kind of topping on it, like pudding.
Yeah,
Chocolate pudding.
To make that as a crust.
Yes,
almost.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I bet
We
so.
should try that.
Okay.
I wonder how they would taste with cocoa powder added. I've always just used this basic recipe. This is really a no-fail recipe. You can't make the, mess up on this like some things.
We'll do a little taste test. Cheers. All right, so in a 350 degree oven, 15 minutes. All right, in 15 minutes they're done. They are going to look a little pale up at top, but you can always flip one over. They don't stick to the pan, by the way, or typically don't, because it is a buttered dough. They will be nice and brown like that. So you're gonna let this set for 2 minutes. Cool to the touch.
You want them warm so that the powdered sugar kind of melts on it. Then we'll pass a second coat on them.
Okay.
They are fragile. They do break, crumble easily, so just be very gentle. Isn't that pretty?
Oh yeah.
I can understand why some people call these snowballs. I usually don't pass them in a second time. I just sprinkle some extra powdered sugar on top for a second little dosing. It's a little messy at this point, but it's a good mess. What do you think?
I think those look great.
All right.
So we have a plate for you and a plate for me.
No matter what they're called, they're delicious.
All right, so you saw Mom's taste test. Now for mine. Oh, they're still warm. Delicious. So that is it for us today. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with us and carrying on with our family tradition. We hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you in another video that YouTube should be recommending now.
Bye.